Yo, let me go on record real quick and say that the new OBS update is trash. Shit is straight dookie ass cheeks. What the fuck is up, gamers? It's your boy The Goods, and we are back for episode number 2 of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Resolve. In the last episode, we had a bit of a mishap here. Turns out that none of these girls are cute. They're actually little babies. And our boy Aochi is back, and he wants to know. I forgot everyone's voices, so you're gonna have to forgive me here.
What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student?
I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot.
Ha! My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins.
No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea?
It's a good fucking question, isn't it?
For old time's sake, I believe.
Sorry?
Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply.
But on what grounds would we agree to such a request?
Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal.
Don't look at me, Professor! It was the government who granted permission, not I! In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong.
But in fact, a murder took place.
I said don't look at me! It was that young student girl who did it, not I!
No one has proved that yet.
I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. Seeing the murderer of a mentor for whom she had such great respect and enjoying and...
Jesus fucking Christ. The mentor... Seeing the murder of the mentor, for whom she had such great respect, comma, enjoying such undeserved liberty, ...
Yes, even if it was only temporary, until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment.
Poor Ray.
So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident.
Yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. As you can clearly
see, there is nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden.
There's a lot happening in that picture.
The court will accept this photographic print as evidence.
Okay.
As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant.
Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence.
What, witnesses? But who?
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Ugh.
Very well then, Counsel. Bring forth your witnesses.
I, Taketsuki Aochi, have been waiting for this moment.
Sorry?
Oh Oh yes, I haven't forgotten that trial 9 months ago here in this very courthouse, when that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me.
Yeah, he had more hair, and it like fell off. Yeah.
Arrgh! Ryunosuke Naruhodo!
What? Yes.
This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten!
You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that! So fucking stupid. He's doing it.
Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
The start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council?
Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the Aochi growth. You see this seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown?
I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something.
I'm afraid I can't really see. Where's the hope exactly? I said silence! Today, I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you! And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned! With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand.
It looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose.
A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life.
That's a good point. Yeah, fuck that.
Who in the hell? I know you! I know the both of you motherfuckers!
Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
I know you!
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected.
What was his name? What was his voice? Hold on. What was his voice? Hold on. Let me find out. Hold on. Okay, I was right.
And I am, well, the next big thing in books, and author renowned throughout the capital, in fact, yes. Soon to be sold out, the satirical I Am a Cat sensational success by Seishi Natsume. Oh my goodness. Struggling student from the provinces, please. You needn't be all for me.
I needn't.
It's only natural you'd feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki even.
Yes. What on earth is Soseki-san doing here?
Tread carefully, Susanoo. That author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's even begun.
Yes, of course, I know.
I presume Soseki-san...
I presume Soseki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget about him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in 6 months or so that it's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is... hard to believe.
What the fuck is he wearing?
Do I have something on my face?
Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either.
Oh, I suppose it's his disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san? Ah, well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture!
I'm like fucking up his voice. It's hard.
It's like, on the morning of the incident at the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less.
At Yume University?
After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact, with my father,
with Professor Mikotoba?
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about 2 former students who'd studied in Great Britain. Of course! Being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scoop on my privacy! As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies.
Thank you very much! He practically threw that paper at me. The Soseki Natsume article. Interesting. So hold on.
Anyway, following my interview with the professor...
Hold on. Open the court record. Let's read some things here. So that really doesn't give me shit to work with. TBH, bro. So for a cat. So interesting. She has like masks and shit in her fucking. Why? Whatever.
The lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory, under strict surveillance, of course.
At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her.
That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosanaga.
Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems.
It was extremely challenging to clear all the members of the public from the vicinity of the beach.
He's like dying.
But fortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly.
Oh my, Inspector, you do have something on your face now.
Yeah, fucking blood. Oh, how unsightly. I do apologize.
Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father?
No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But if only I had, I'd never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast.
Jesus, he is dying.
Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret, I am.
Bro, whatever, I don't give a shit.
I don't really care. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question.
Yes, that young girl was a stranded Englishwoman, dagger in hand as she stabbed wildly.
I saw the blood on the blade, but it proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times.
I want to call bullshit.
Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. I call cap.
Yeah, fucking idiot, the fuck? Stupid.
Let me... the very moment of this heinous crime.
What?
Now, if you recall, I promise evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, Counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with a final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What?
Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
Oh, goodness me! Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Ah! The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Membami. The initials of the defendant.
Oh no! The fuck? So she stole her pens when she killed her? So that works.
This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence.
So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel.
I don't understand. The prosecutor Aochi of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise.
Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san!
Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yes, me!
Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom?
Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom.
Cousin Ryutaro, pull yourself together, please.
Alright, I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. To find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do!
Yeah, let's see, bruh. Let's get it, ho. So hold on, I don't give a shit about none of that dumb shit, bro. Wait, shit, no, motherfucker! Hold on. Hold on, shut up. Shut up! I know what it is! I just pressed the button too fast. Motherfucker, dude. Oh, press E to present, okay. They just didn't give me that option before. Whatever, it's fine, Alright, bruh. God damn! I know what to do! Fucking idiot, by the way.
Objection!
Objection!
With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed.
What's the meaning of that menacing pose, counsel?
I'd like the witness to clarify something for me.
What? Where? When? How?
Not you, Sosuke-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga.
That's me.
In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times.
Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon.
And yet, that cannot be. What?
Get to the point, please, counsel.
In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only.
Oh!
Damn.
In other words, Inspector Hosonaga's testimony is clearly flawed! And Sosuke-san!
Me?
You claim to have seen Membami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim.
Yes, yes I did! Wildly!
But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point, that there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding.
Yes, and?
It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred.
Ah, true! Then what exactly is your contention, counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Sosuke-san in fact saw was not the moment the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body.
That can't be! Excellent work, Susanoo. You exploded at them with that objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in the trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection, attempting to steal the show.
You're right. There were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair.
Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed! In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference.
What? Why not?
Engage your brain, young man! When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood, because the accused had already stabbed the victim.
Oh!
All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. Ah!
I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion.
But if she was withdrawing the blade...
Then we are back to where we started.
Sorry?
Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with the demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good.
Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Ah yes, going for the jugular.
What does Father mean by that?
Let the court hear your answer then, counsel.
The truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was so she could... save her life? It's not stab her again. It's gotta be save her life. Can I save? Can I save? Let me save the game. Let me save the game. I want to say save her life. TBH. My guess. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant.
That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research student, Mibami-san was compelled to act when faced with a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
Oh, is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here?
Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness.
I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the yokel defense counsel, I mean. Slipshod?
An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion.
Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly.
So far, we're doing this without any fucking, fuck-ups here. We're doing pretty fucking good. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge for any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. So, I wanna check something.
Is what you just said true, Inspector?
Hold on. I wanna check something. Is there any reason that she would have wanted to do that? What reason would she have for doing that? Because we're going to have to cross-examine here, so I need to think. So hold on. I don't see any reason right off the top of my head. Because, like... I don't think anything in there tells me anything. A lot of feathers and shit. Yeah, I don't think anything tells me. Trauma to the victim's lung. Oh! Oh, her lungs! Oh, she needed to breathe! Oh, shit. Hold on. Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor's ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see.
Ha! This is why yokels should stay on the farm! Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows.
Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
It's because of the lungs. She had to pull it out from the lungs.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... could my friend actually have...
Susato!
Yes?
Pull yourself together! We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Oh,
Counsel! It's time for your cross-examination.
oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you, if your cross-examination fails to identify with the established facts, I'll be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
Jesus Christ, bro. Oh my god.
I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard.
So, what I need to do is prove him wrong. Which, I'm actually going to press him. Because what I need to get him to say is unless it's the lungs.
You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean if you use due care and attention it would be alright?
I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but... the blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it.
Oh, well, thank you for your thorough explanation.
Okay, so hold on. Hold on. What I'm trying to get at is the lungs. I think that's my best bet. There's an obvious, in that case, there's an obvious explanation here, which is
clearly the defendant, Raven Bomison, does not possess an ounce of sense.
What do you think about that, Professor Miko Toba? I'm not sure you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer.
I don't know. Young people today, if that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing.
Jesus.
Oh dear.
That's crazy. Okay, so hold on. I need to... Hold on. I'm gonna... I want to save the game. I'm almost certain it's the lungs. Right, is it not?
Is it not the lungs? Trauma to the victim's fucking lungs.
Objection!
Okay, that's not gonna help.
I tell you what, I'll figure it out, and then next episode we'll go from here. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.